The emotional impact is obviously devastating.
The unthinkable on our most hallowed grounds. We uncovered a mistake that at first the VA refused to admit. A Florida woman's final wish was to be laid to rest with her late husband.
But a mistake left her cremated remains mixed with the wrong veteran. 8 on your side investigator Walt Buteau joining us now with that story.
Yeah, you know, at first the VA refused to answer really any questions about this or admit that this mistake happened at Bushnell, but we kept asking, and they eventually told us about a mistake that should have never happened.
Hey, stop!
Being laid to rest at Florida National Cemetery in Bushnell is a sacred honor for veterans and their spouses. This section is the final resting place for about 41,000 who had their cremated remains buried. But we found out a burial recently went wrong for 2 families. The remains of a woman who asked to be buried with her husband were mistakenly commingled, as in mixed, with the remains of the wrong man. I went to the cemetery and asked the executive director to comment, but he would not admit or talk about the gaffe, citing privacy concerns. My email to the VA prompted a similar statement. We are unable to discuss specific benefits. After that first response, we pushed back, pointing out we didn't ask for anybody's private information. We just want to know, did the VA mix up somebody's cremated remains? The VA apologized, telling me we are regretful for the commingling of cremated remains at Florida National Cemetery. After a number of local funeral homes chose not to comment for fear of damaging their relationship with the cemetery,
You've got one chance to get it right.
I went to Jack Hales, an attorney who specializes in funeral home negligence.
The emotional impact is obviously devastating. I mean, how else do you sit here and measure the wrong here? You can't undo it.
The VA says the issue was resolved. We've learned the remains were different colors, and agency sources tell me they were separated after the mistake. These 2 bags, unrelated to the incident at Bushnell, show you remains are not all alike. But can powdery ashes that are mixed together really be separated?
Yeah, you'll see that some remains are more bleached than others, but even then, a perfect separation, if they actually mix the cremains, it's hard to imagine. One time is too many here, and it goes back to, you can't treat this as a cost of doing business when you're handling funeral and burial, because once the damage is done, it is done.
And as far as this type of issue, a VA spokesperson tells us the agency is unaware of any similar mistakes since 2015 within the National Cemetery System.
So I'm wondering, did anyone actually get in trouble for the, I mean, it's a pretty big mistake.
We asked, and that's a question the VA still won't answer, and the State Division of Funeral, Cemetery, and Consumer Services, which regulates cemeteries in Florida, has yet to answer our question about whether incidents like this have to be reported to the state. We'll keep asking that question.
All right. Thank you, Walt.
Okay.